The Longbox Crusade presents
Action Film Face-Off.
This episode, it's 1963 versus 1960.
Two old school films in her.
One geriatric film leaves.
2 men enter, 1 man leaves. 2 men enter, 1 man leaves. 2 men enter, 1 man leaves. 2 men enter, 1 man leaves.
But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. Now, if you know what you're worth, now go out and get what you're worth. But you got to be willing to take the hits.
Whoa, welcome back to Action Film Face-Off. This is a show where two random years are selected. My brother picks an action film from one of those random years. I pick one from the other one. Those two films do battle. We use a variety of criteria. A champion is crowned by the end of the episode. I am Jared Albrecht, the Death Probe. My co-host is my brother Jason, the Weasel Skull. We are both military combat veterans. Ironically, have both been stranded on islands separately, though, not the same island, which was weird. And we take our action seriously, but not too seriously. We're going to have some fun on this episode. This is a retro rewind. We try to squeeze in a retro rewind episode once a year, where we recalibrate the randomizer from 1950 to 1969. So that's what two films from the 60s on this one. And Jason, I'd actually seen both of these movies before. What about you, bud?
I have seen both of them before. I think I've seen the Swiss Family Robinson like when I was in grade school or something.
Yeah, man, that one has been around.
I think it's been around for a minute.
Like, remember when they used to bring the projector in grade school in and you watch it reel to reel?
Yep, exactly. And like you had to watch it in a two-parter. Teachers were just like going and drinking in the lounge for like 2 days, just like, okay, I get 2 days off, basically. I know what they were doing. Anyway, yes, Jared, I've seen both of these films. Good. So yes, indeed, we're going to score each of today's films on a scale of 1 to 10 in 5 categories. Those categories are the story, the overall spectacle, best action scene, the hero, and the villain. It's not going to be in that order. We keep getting requests to put it in the right order. And actually, the more requests that we get, the more I'm just convinced we're going to leave it out of order. Just because, I'm wired like that. But what I do promise you is this. We will have the deduction round at the end where up to 10 points can be subtracted from anything we consider the low point in any of the movies. I think that's it. That's the rules.
All right. Thank you, Jason. We are joined by our sniper here. The sniper has 1 point to give in each category, so the sniper can sway the scoring by a total of up to 5 points. Let's meet our sniper for this episode. It is a regular quarterly guest. It is Captivating Kathy Bright, the MVP. Welcome back to Action Film Face-Off.
MVP. Whoop, whoop. Good evening, gentlemen.
Hello, Kathy, and my prepared question for you on this episode is we have a Harryhausen spectacular this evening for one of our films. He's very famous for his stop-motion effects.
Yes.
So, Kathleen, what are 3 of your favorite movies that feature stop-motion effects?
Okay, I have 3, and I'm going to save my absolute 100% top one for last. I'm going to go with one of the Sinbad movies. I think it's the Eye of the Tiger one that I saw, because that one came out in the late 70s. So more than likely, that's the one I watched the most. And I do remember watching Sinbad movies when I was a kid.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I think this one qualifies as stop motion. Probably not what you're thinking, but I think the Lego movie is a stop motion.
I'll give it to you. Yep.
And there's no movie better than Clash of the Titans.
That's the one.
I watched that movie so many times as a kid. I had the poem that she reads about the ring, had that memorized as like an 11-year-old. So I absolutely love that movie.
Good answers all. I'm not mad about any of those. Well, we've got our trio, and before our 2 films enter the Videodome arena, we are thrilled to kick off this episode with special shout-outs to our Crusaders Club members. These are the fine folks who've joined the Crusade. They enjoy early access to special Longbox episodes as they get priority seating to be guests on shows and so much more. These are the folks reaping the benefits and giving so much appreciated support. to the show.
Alan W. Wright.
And Helica Wolf.
Auburn Elvis.
Bill Beer.
Billy D.
Bradley Dello.
Braxton Underwood.
Carrie.
Clinton Swiss Family Robinson.
Captain Entropy.
Clark Westfield.
Dave Collins. Battlewagon.
Battlewagon.
Eric Hodges.
Eric Porter.
Ezra Gallo.
Gary V.
Gene Hendricks.
George Meal.
Gerald Green.
Heinz K.
Django Unfettered.
Jason Argonaut King.
Jason Argonaut Lady.
Jeff Polier.
Jim Jarman. I hope you like Jim Jarman too.
Jim Meal.
Joe Man Conan.
Joe Thomas.
John Watson.
Josh Strickland.
Candace Ward.
This gal. Captivating Kathy Bright, the MVP.
Woohoo, that's me.
Matt and Lizzie Poisson.
Mark Ross.
Michael Minton.
Miranda W.
P.D. Devins.
Paul Hicks.
Rick from Jeff and Ricketts Presents.
Ron Easterday Island.
Rob Captain Morgan.
Scott.
Sean Urbanski.
Snake Pliskin.
Spidey 67.
Spreadsheet.
Steve Cronin.
Steve Martin.
Tim Price.
Tony Pennington.
And the Toronto Cop. If we missed anyone on the list, we apologize. Keep in mind we record these episodes well in advance of release. So if your recent edition will be adding you soon, but no worries. Just let us know that we missed you by sending an email to contact@longboxcrusade.com, and we will square everything away. If you're asking yourself, how do I get in on this? How do I become a Crusaders Club member? Pretty easy. Go to patreon.com/longboxcrusade. For as little as $1 a month, you get access to the amazing world of the Crusaders Club. Come and check it out.
Well, now that we've got this crazy tree house built, let's climb up in it and get back to the combat and learn a bit about the gladiators about to battle for our pleasure.
This episode, I was assigned the year of 1963, and I selected Jason and the Argonauts. What year did the randomizer select for you, Jason?
Well, I got 1960 and put into our videodome arena, Swiss Family Robinson.
All right, we got a fine matchup here, folks. It's important to point out this isn't Jared versus Jason. We each had to select from our assigned year. Might like his selection better than mine or vice versa. This is all about us discussing beloved action films and coming to a consensus on which one is this episode's champion. Jason, I kind of already spoiled about where we when we watched these movies as kids. I'm pretty sure, I've seen them around and I got it both on my Plex, so that's how I rewatched them. Jason, anything to add?
I don't have them, so I rented Jason and the Argonauts from Apple, and that was like $3.99. And then you can actually buy Swiss Family Robinson for $4.99. So that's like one streaming movie I finally bought. I was like, I'll pay an extra $1. Keep it, watch it whenever I want. It's good. It's a good movie. So both off of Apple, though.
Okay, Kathy.
Jason and the Argonauts free on Tubi. And I have Disney Plus, so Swiss Family Robinson is on Disney Plus.
Look at you go. All right, it's time for the spoiler warning, folks. We are going to play a little musical bit here, and on the other side of that, anything goes. Of course, these movies are pretty old, so if there's a spoiler coming your way, I'd be surprised. See you on the other side of the musical break. Let me jump in with some quick info on 1963's Jason and the Argonauts.
Now, from the makers of Sinbad, Columbia Pictures presents Jason and the Argonauts, the mightiest band of warriors the world has ever known.
Turn back, Jason. We're trapped.
Sailing to the ends of the earth, battling against an incredible number of obstacles.
Where will you find this miracle? I have heard there is a tree at the end of the world with a fleece of gold hanging in its branches.
In search of the fabulous magic golden fleece, Jason and the Argonauts, caught in the clutches of the towering bronze giant Talos, battered by treacherous falling rocks, taming vulturous harpies, facing the dreaded seven-headed Hydra, battling the merciless army of skeletons. Jason and the Argonauts, the classic story of Jason, a man who challenged the gods. Medea, a temple dancer who betrayed a kingdom for love. The Argonauts, the mightiest band of warriors the world has ever known. Jason and the Argonauts, a classic adventure story, brought to the screen through the incredible special effects magic of Dinorama. Jason and the Argonauts, the search that became a legend.
Cast and crew is as follows. It starred Todd Anderson, Nancy Kovac, and Gary Raymond. It's directed by Don Chaffee. And here's your synopsis. It's Jason and his Argonauts, and they're hunting for the Golden Fleece. And it's a Greek myth of old with stop motion effects by the incomparable Harryhausen. That's all you need to know. We have Kathy on, so she's taking care of trivia. I hand it to her.
All right, let's see what we got tonight. It took Ray Harryhausen 4 months to produce the skeleton scene, which runs a total of 3 minutes of the film. It was originally animated with bits of rotting flesh hanging from the bones, but censors thought it was too gruesome, so they cut that part out. That's why we have plain old, just boned skeletons. Ray actually kept the 7 skeletons from the film's finale, one of which is the same one used for the movie The Seventh Voyage of Sinbad.
Nice.
As most of you know, Jared pays a lot of attention to the music in the movies that they do on Action Film Face Off. So on a musical note, composer Bernard Herrmann wrote the soundtrack without any string instruments. The brass and the percussion formed the heroic fanfares, and woodwinds dominated in the more subtle and romantic tunes. Later, Herrmann would also compose the score for Psycho using only string instruments. No woodwinds, no percussion, or no brass. I thought that was kind of interesting.
Neat.
And you may or may not have noticed, none of this movie is actually filmed in Greece. That is my biggest bugaboo of this whole movie.
Like Escape from New York.
It's not filmed in Greece.
St. Louis.
The production team scouted Greece and Yugoslavia for filming locations, but they considered Greece to be too bleak and gray. As some of you know, I've been to Greece. It is neither of those two things. And they considered Yugoslavia too corrupt to film. They ended up filming the entire movie in Italy, roughly about an hour outside of the city of Palermo.
Dang, if Yugoslavia is so corrupt that they filmed in Italy? Oh my goodness.
Of course, what year was this? You know, things are probably different.
And now I will give you the rundown on 1960s Swiss Family Robinson.
Sharks! Sharks!
This family of courageous castaways brave the perils of shipwreck and find themselves in an exciting tropical world of fantastic adventure. Here again is Walt Disney's Technicolor motion picture production, Swiss Family Robinson. See John Mills, Dorothy McGuire, Kevin Corcoran, James MacArthur, and Janet Monroe in Walt Disney's Swiss Family Robinson. Rated G.
Cast and crew starred John Mills, James MacArthur, Tommy Kirk, Dorothy McGuire, Janet Monroe. It was directed by Ken Anakin. Use the force. Swiss Family Robinson are a family of 5. Father, mother, Ernst, Fritz, and Francis, who are fleeing the Napoleonic Wars. And Jared, I cut a little bit of time in here just to let you give the inevitable Swiss fleeing war joke or something, Swiss avoiding the war. Do you want to throw something in there?
So they're fleeing the thing that they're not involved in.
Exactly.
Okay.
They're going to make sure they don't get involved. They want to start a new life in a New Guinea colony. Their plans are derailed, however, when they are attacked by a pirate ship and forced to set up residence on a deserted island. As their stay drags on, they become more comfortable and content. Still, as the boys enter manhood, the need for female companionship becomes complicated when they rescue the one woman on the island from the pirates. I mean, it took Ernst a really long time to find that knife during the boa fight. Am I right? You know what I'm saying? He's like, oh no, I can't find it. The film's climactic end finds the family fighting Ewok style against the pirates, which is ironic considering the reason they left Switzerland in the first place. All right, go ahead, take the trivia away there, Kathy. It's all yours.
All right, so for Swiss Family Robinson, this is what our trivia nuggets are. The movie was such a box office hit for Disney that the Swiss Family Robinson treehouse opened up on November 18th, 1962 at Disneyland, California, in their park called Adventureland. It was replaced March 8th, 1999 by Tarzan's Treehouse, but Disney rethemed it back to Swiss Family Treehouse in December of 2023. I personally have been to the Swiss Family Robinson Treehouse in Anaheim, California. This is Walt Disney Pictures' first movie filmed in Panavision. And my last trivia nugget is, someone will be happy to hear this. This is officially a Christmas movie. This was Disney's big Christmas release in the year 1960.
I do love my offbeat Christmas movies.
Not a lot of trivia nuggets, but still kind of interesting.
Well, do you want to do the honors, Kathy?
And now that we have the basics on today's contestants.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Test your might.
let's get ready to rumble! It's a street fight,
All right, folks, it's time to mix it up 1960 style. And how we didn't pick James Bond movies, I'm not really sure. But you know what? We probably do that a little too often. But hey, let's talk about what we're about to do. First off, match game. We got 2 films, 5 categories. I have not seen Jason's scores. He has not seen mine. We can match up to 10 times. Kathy, I think you nailed it the last time you were on. Let's see if you can go for 2 in a row. How many times are we going to match? Kathy's holding up 7 fingers. Kathy says 7. Now let's get your score barometer set. On this show, we rate things on a scale of 1 to 10. If we give it a 5, that means it's okay. It's average. It did its job. It's a pretty decent made-for-TV movie kind of quality. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You got yourself some good stuff. 4, 3, 2, 1. You got things to work on. With your barometer set, let's get in round 1.
I'm gonna kill you now!
Round 1 is the story. How engaging or original is the story? We start in 1963 with Jason and the Argonauts. How original it can be. It's a really old story. But hey, Kathy, you get to talk first.
7.
First of all, you don't score them. You just give out bonus points. She's gone rogue, Jason. She's gone rogue.
Well, the first thing I want to notice is that in your cast information, I did not hear one mention of a James Bond actress that is in this movie. Neither one of y'all noticed.
I didn't notice.
Hera is none other than Honor Blackman.
What the what? I don't believe you.
I'd take time right now. Google it. Because I saw the name. I was like, why do I know that name? And I was like, that's why I know that name. She was the mythical god Hera.
My name is Hera Galore.
All right. While Jared's searching that to confirm that I am 100% correct. Yeah, I agree with Jared. It is a very, very old book. I know they made a lot of changes from the book. So, but I just give it a 7.
You don't score.
I know, I'm kidding. It is engaging. It moves very fast.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes a little too fast.
Maybe.
So you don't get bogged down in too many details of what's happening. I know Jason will have a lot more to say because I know he's a lot more schooled in the mythological gods and goddesses than I am. So I think I'm going to give him my time.
All right. She's giving her time to Jason, but no time for no Argonauts. What you got?
The story goes back. Yes, indeed it does. But it is a great story and it's well rendered in this film. I think the themes that I really liked about it, it's that building that all-star team, right? Like that scene where he's coming together and you got like Hercules on your team. Like,
yeah, Hercules. And he's like, oh, you showed up late. Like, you're not going to take Hercules.
Well, he said, he's like, well, you don't have to do anything. You're going to be on the team.
Hercules didn't even have to try out, but he's cherry picking this team. He's getting the best ship. He's got a little God statue on the back that talks to him all along the way. This is kind of like superheroes, right? These are the predecessors to our Justice League, to our Avengers. And man, the story takes you hopping, takes you from place to place and from situation to situation. There's a lot of tension along the way, tales of endurance, tales of courage, tales of strength, just perseverance, just a lot of themes from the hero's journey. So although, it's a tale as old as time, kind of literally, it's well told here in this film.
Don't forget the tales of stupidity with his them doing exactly what they told them not to do on the island.
I know. And if Hercules is going to steal something, grab more stuff. Then you got a needle. You got a god needle, and you like lost half of your crew in your ship. It's ridiculous.
The only thing I'll add is that the pacing on this is, like Kathy said, it's almost too fast. But I mean, I appreciate the fact that it almost feels like they're like, all right, we got some really cool effects here. Let's just jump from one to the other. And unfortunately, that kind of takes me out of the story. I stopped caring as much about the story as I just am enjoying the set pieces when I watch this movie. So that's going to hurt it a little bit in the story column, but we do have one for spectacle, so it might gain its ground back there. Having said that, let's shift gears and go to Swiss Family Robinson in 1960. What did you think of that story, Kathy?
Very wholesome, very adventurous, very fun, maybe sometimes a little too convenient. I'm not sure how... I guess, were there time jumps that we were supposed to just accept? Like, how did they build that tree house so quickly and so elaborately?
It was pretty elaborate.
That family has some talent. That's all I'll say. I'll shut up. It's Kathy's turn.
No, I enjoyed it. I've seen this movie so many times as a kid. This was in the late 60s or early 70s. When did this one come out?
60. Right on 1960.
So I would have been the perfect age to have seen this, 10, 11, 12.
How old are you?
No, wait a minute.
You were like 12 in 1960?
Goodness gracious. How are you not dead?
I know. You need to get some more milk before we continue.
Hey, y'all always say we don't have to do math on this podcast. Right? Oh, I don't know why they have me on this show. You did confirm it was Honor Blackman, though, right? Just
I did. Yep. You nailed it.
Totally got by me. It makes me sad inside that I missed that. And then the very next year, Goldfinger comes out. So she's 1-2 punching this right here.
She looked older in this, though, for some reason. But anyway. All right. I enjoyed it. Like I said, I've seen this movie a lot when I was little, and it's a wholesome little movie. It's a sweet family. They care about each other. They take care of each other. It's a simple story, deserted island, pirates. Yay, we make it home. Let's go to college.
Well, the only thing I'm going to add, I might be stealing something from Jason before I pass to him. The longer I stay on a deserted island, quote unquote, the quicker I can suss out who's a girl and who's a boy. Like, it's the longer I'm there, the faster I can do that. That's all I'm saying. But over to Jason.
Hey, Dano was not Dano for a few more years now, so his detective skills were not honed in properly just yet.
It's a fun story. On the surface, I think it's a simple story, but it does have a couple interesting themes, and we see it as the family progresses. When we find them, the movie opens with the ship just wrecked, and they're by themselves on the ship. We have no idea what happened to everybody else. It's just them and the animals. And so they are, kind of in over their heads. Their first shelter as they try to spend the night is just quickly inundated. But then it shows their adaptability and faith. Faith is also a theme in here. It's like, they're a spiritual family. There's a sense of them. The sense of faith and family is kind of what's keeping them going. And then it's interesting because you see the skills that each of the boys brings. And each of the boys is kind of a unique skill set. Ernst is he's always reading. He's the brains. He comes up with plans. And Fritz is definitely more the athlete, the stronger, the hunter, the explorer. And then Francis, he's a pain in the ass. He's like little Anakin from Star Wars. I'm teasing. I like Francis too. Francis has that curiosity as a young boy. So to him, this is a great adventure. So it's interesting to see it through the eyes of all the family. And it's also interesting because the parents are trying to run. I kind of made jest of it, but they're trying to run from the Napoleonic Wars because they have 3 boys, 2 of which are of military age, and they're afraid that they're going to get caught up in this military adventure, and they don't want that. So it's kind of a story of that old saying is life is what happens when you're making other plans, right? So they made plans, their plans went awry, they adapted. And then it kind of goes into the second arc where they're surviving, and the dad's like, I kind of like this, man. This is great for me. But then you look at the generation. So it brings the generation study into it as well. Okay, this is good for you and your wife, maybe, but your boys, there's no social aspect to this. And, I think if we're going to compare it to a social commentary of modern times, it's almost like COVID. Kids having to go to school over Zoom and not being able to socialize with their friends. That's damaging to them. And the mom realizes that. So there's a lot of wisdom in this story as well. And then at the end, the older generation kind of realizes like, well, there's what I had planned for and what's happened. And I've kind of grown and I like what's happened. And each of the kids kind of makes their own choice in life. It's a tale of adventure. Sure. It's fun. It's got lots of, when we'll talk more about it in Spectacle, but underneath it, there's a lot of social commentary and some things that I found kind of relevant to today. That social isolation and how damaging, and we see in the movie how damaging it is to those two boys.
In contrast, this is why Jason is on the show.
He talked for a long time, and I was just like, I liked when the dogs fought the tiger.
Oh man, that's the one I didn't put. I was like, should I put when the dogs fight the tiger and that's the action scene? I was like, nobody's gonna pick the dogs fight the tiger.
I don't want to talk about how the whole time I'm watching it, that's all I'm worried about. It's like, how did they film that sequence?
Kathy texted me while she was watching it. She was like, did you see Swiss Family Robinson? I was like, yeah. She's like, how did they get the dogs to fight the tiger? And you remember what my reply was?
No.
Money. Paid them.
I will say in the trivia, there are, and I didn't like reading it, it said animals were injured in the filming of this movie. Like, there's no way they could have made some of that parts of that movie today with the animal scenes that they had. Like, those poor animals floating in the ocean. Like, they were obviously really in the water floating.
Freaking the F out, too.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Well, freaking the F out is code for let's end this round. So let's go ahead and score these.
Did you give your thoughts?
I like the part where the dogs fought the tiger. Jason talked for like 8 minutes. I don't have anything else to say. Gotta find a way to edit that down.
This is why I like Jason to start all the rounds and not me, because then I can say ditto.
All right. Jason went deep on it, man. He had diagrams, charts.
But he was very accurate on all of it.
I didn't say it was wrong. Let's score these movies. Let's go back. Jason, 1 to 10. Jason the Argonauts. The story. Go.
I'm giving it a 7. I mean, it's a story that's, long lasting, has great themes. It was well done for the movie. Not entirely original, obviously, but I've landed on 7.
I came close. I was a little grumpier about it. I put it at a 6 just because what I mentioned before is like, for some reason, I've seen this movie probably 4 times in my life, and I end up never really paying attention to the story. I'm just watching the set pieces. And so that's, I don't know if something says something about me or the movie just doesn't string it together as strongly as I wish it would. Like, I'm really invested at the beginning. Like when they're telling the story about how like dude's going to show up, he's going to have one sandal on, and he's going to overthrow you, and he's going to have the trace buster and all that, right? I'm in it, and then when it all starts happening, I'm just watching for spectacle, which we'll get to. So I'm at a 6. Jason's at a 7. Swiss Family Robinson. Jason, 1 to 10.
I'm giving that one an 8. Again, based off of book material, but just really well done. And well, I waxed on for 8 minutes. So
I didn't actually time you. I don't know if it was. But I'm just one step grumpier, although I'm not grumpy at all about this movie. Like, I like it. I think it's solid. I like it to the tune of a 7. The only thing that bothered me storytelling wise is like they had made that elaborate treehouse, and then one day they were like sitting around. You could tell they'd been there a while, and they're like, we should probably explore this island. I was like, that's day 2. Like, day 2, you should explore the island. For all you know, over that hill is a big bustling city.
Exactly.
Like, you didn't explore before you built all that.
Well, the mom was pretty demanding. She wanted like OSHA safety rails and everything on the tree.
That just cracked me out. Like, they had clearly been building stuff for months, and they're like, well, I think it's time to explore. I'm like, what the what? Anyway, Kathy, you get the final word. Which of these 2 movies do you think had a better story?
I think I'm going to go with Swiss Family Robinson, kind of like what you said, Jared, because I feel like I caught myself also just paying attention to the visual aspects of Jason and the Argonauts. To me, they're both very linear. We get from point A to B to C to D. So I think Swiss Family Robinson may have had like Jason said, a little more nuance to the story. So
yeah, they're both really good looking pictures too, but we will get there. And that is the end of round 1.
What do we do? We die.
Which brings us to round 2, where we need to talk about the hero, or heroes in the case of Jason and the Argonauts, because it's not called Jason, it's called Jason and the Argonauts. So, Kathy, what were your thoughts on the hero, Jason, and the Argonauts?
I lost a tiny bit of respect for him when the first thing he does when he meets someone and goes to their camp is tell them exactly what he plans on doing to the king, and just doesn't know that he's talking to the king.
Yeah, I didn't think that one through, man. That's some stuff you might want to keep to yourself.
Yeah. So he may not be the smartest, but he had a good plan. You know, he got the gods on his side by not asking for too much help. He found the best way to pick his team. He had, I'm assuming the very first Olympic Games, tested their abilities, wanted smart, wanted brawn, wanted a little bit of everything. So he got the job done. He was handsome. He got the girl. You mentioned superheroes. That's the superhero story right there. So
you bet. You better believe it is. All right, Jared, what are your thoughts?
Serviceable. They were all, him and his Argonauts were all good, fine. I just think it's weird that you have such a ensemble cast movie. And, I'm not going to sit here and pretend I know all the actors of the 60s, but I didn't really recognize any of them. I mean, I missed Honor Blackman, clearly, who I should have recognized. But otherwise, it was like, they were fine. But I was waiting to be like, oh, there's Sean Connery. Okay, they're all James Bond examples. You know what I'm saying?
I kept thinking Hercules looked familiar, but I didn't recognize really anybody either.
Yeah, and I liked them all, and they were all fine, but nobody just wowed me. And like, it's just, Jason's like, Jason of the, both. He's a silly guy because like you say, he's giving away his plans. Was it Hera who was like, I'll give you 5 questions? He's like, yeah, what'd you have for lunch? He's like wasting questions. I'm like, what are you doing? And I love the fact that she gives like just really obscure answers. If I were you, I'd look to the ankle. Just tell him what to do. Don't give him mysteries on top of his questions.
And I call BS with that question thing because he technically never asked that first question.
Yes.
She gave him an answer, but
I
he technically did not answer.
She's like, you've just burned one. And he's like, that? What?
I didn't ask a question.
I think it was Zeus, because she even said, I know what you need to ask me, so just hold it. I think Zeus is the one that counted as a question. I don't think she did.
Yeah, I got hung up on all that too. But anyway, just to get back to the crew, I liked them. I thought they were neat. No one is super memorable to me. Like you said, Kathy, I think Hercules is probably the most memorable one, and he's kind of an idiot too.
Mm-hmm. But, I like the stern guy too, the leader of the crew, the kind of bald-headed guy with no shirt on, with the big diaper. They all look like they were wearing diapers.
With his big diaper. And then the smart guy who was like too smart for his own good sometimes. Anyway, that's what I got.
I agree with both of you. I thought there was a lot of potential there, especially when we went to the Olympics scene and you're like, okay, you got Hercules. So he's kind of like the boy, right? And then you have the smart guy that actually beat Hercules in the discus throw. So you're like, oh, that's the brains right there. So they started planting the seed that you're going to have like everybody with these little skills. But then it kind of all fell apart when they got on that island with Talus or whatever that big statue was I was just like, oh, he died. And then by the end, when there were like 3 guys that got killed by the skeletons, I was like, I don't know. And then Hercules got off. He's like, I'm going to keep wandering this island looking for my buddy.
Who's just underneath the Talus, whatever.
I know. Yeah, he's the stain that's on the front armor of the giant statue, dude.
And again, I kind of zone out of the story and I pay attention to this. But didn't he like betray them?
Was that smart guy? I think smart guy died when the statue. I think that was smart
correct.
Guy.
The guy you're thinking of, Jared, is the one who was just kind of grumpy and kind of back talking the whole time. He's the smart one who ended up being like he's a relative of the king that he
I
was
think
trying
so.
to
Him
kill.
and Smart
I
Guy were two different guys. I got confused.
Yeah,
Correct,
me
yes.
too. Which I think is kind of the point of what we're trying to explain here.
Exactly.
All right. Well, let me pass it back over to Kathy so we can talk about the family, Swiss Family Robinson. Whole family of heroes there. What'd you think of them, Kathy?
Francis gets on my nerves.
True.
No, they're a lovely family. You can tell they truly care about each other. The only fight the brothers got in was over a girl. Hopefully you two have never done that.
No,
Okay.
never have.
Good job.
Too far apart in age to be creepy for Jason.
Yeah, there's laws against that.
It was a nice family. I would be a part of their family. They seemed cool. They were obviously adventurous. Obviously always took care of each other as well. That's really all I got.
Yeah, no, I agree. It was a nice family. It kind of felt organic. It wasn't like all sappy. There was some conflict. There was tension in there. Mom was not happy with that first attempt at the treehouse, which Jared, I think, explains why they didn't start exploring, because they needed to make Mom happy really quick. I mean, they went and took the only mirror left on the ship and like 14 shards, patched it all together.
They gave her a skylight, for God's sake.
Oh, man, he was doing, he was working it. He was working it. It just goes to show you, man, you get out what you put in. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I got to stop talking and pass it to Jared. What do you think?
I agree with everything Kathy said and what you said. We have not yet spoken of the actual heroes of the film, though, which are Duke and Turk. They are my favorite characters.
Duke and Turk. Duke and Turk were on it, man.
Trying to leave them on the boat, making them swim in the ocean like that.
That was the part that got me. I almost texted Jared. I was like, if those dogs drown, I'm not watching the rest of it.
You know what? When Kathy messaged me about Fight the Tiger, I think I did message her. I was like, something like, don't worry about the dogs. Because I was thinking the same thing. I was like, if they kill those dogs, I'm stopping this movie. But yeah. And Duke and Turk took on a tiger, man. But yeah, it's a great, wholesome Disney family, spiritually oriented. It's a classic piece with a great group of folks. Really centers a lot around Ernst and Fritz, and it all works out. I mean, yeah, there's not much else to say. It's not bad at all.
And kind of once again, these actors are probably a little more memorable. I know John Mills because his daughters were Haley Mills from The Parent Trap and Pollyanna, and then of course the older brother. I love me some Hawaii Five-0. So
and
then
Tommy Kirk was in like a ton of teen movies around this time.
Right, the Shaggy Dog, I think, is the big one. Several of the people in the film, I think, were all in Old Yella together, but I refused to watch that movie all the way through. So,
all right. Well, I think all we have to do now is score them. So, Jared, what score did you give the hero category for Jason and the Argonauts?
Even with my bugaboos and whatever, I still think they're interesting to watch, a cut above a good TV movie. So I'm on a 6.
Well, once again, I went a little bit higher just because, just the name, really. so I gave it a 7. What about Swiss Family Robinson? What were you thinking there?
There I did go with a 7. I thought they were really solid and really likable.
Well, I think I'm detecting a pattern here because I keep liking it just a little bit more, I guess.
It was a little better mood.
It must have been in a good mood. I gave it an 8. I thought they were a great family, man. I'll tell you. I'd hang out with them on Christmas.
I'm detecting that my guess is going to be wrong for how many.
Yeah, we are running out of options.
We're running out of runway here. But Kathy, you do get to give a sniper bullet to one of these two movies. Which one are you going to give it to?
I think based off our conversation, I came into this episode not having any idea who I was giving what points to, but based off conversation, I think I'm again going to give this one to Swiss Family Robinson because, like we said, the very vanilla characters from Jason and the Argonauts, I thought Swiss Family Robinson had more personality. So we're going to go with Swiss Family Robinson, or the Robinson family, I guess is what we're going to call them.
All right. Well, that's it. That wraps up the hero category. Passing it back to Jared.
It's time for round 3.
Tiger uppercut.
Round 3 is the villain. How menacing or entertaining is your villain? We'll go Jason on this one, and we'll talk about the villainy. There's kind of a lot of villainy going on in Jason and the Argonauts.
Yeah, man, there is a lot of villainy going on. Start with the king. I thought the king was really kind of cool, right?
Yeah,
I mean, was kind of baller what he did.
I like the very beginning when he was like, yeah, look, the gods are looking out for you on this one. He's like, cool, then I won't need this here sword. And he's like, but this dude's going to betray you. Yep, I'm going to take that sword.
Sword coming back. Yeah, well, I mean, he was pretty cold-blooded, but I don't know. He was pretty cool when Jason rescued him from nearly drowning, and with a little help from Hera. You know what I'm saying? But I just he played it so cool when Jason was like, "Yeah, man, when I find that king, I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna just put the pound down on him, and I'm gonna take my stuff back, and I'm gonna." He's like, "Oh, really? Yeah. You may want to keep that quiet, son." No, man. No, I don't care who knows. You got it coming. I'm gonna.
This guy's never gonna see me coming, man.
Yeah. And so what's he do? He's like, "Yeah, man. There's a ding ding golden fleece, and it's as far away from here as you could possibly be. Go get it." That's exactly what I'm going to do. Yeah, don't tell anybody. Just put a little team together. Let's go over there. I mean, this guy was cool. So starting with him, then you got all the Harryhausen effects of we got harpies, we got hydras, we got hydra's teeth, and all kinds of cool stuff. So that was just, we'll talk more about that in Spectacle. And then you kind of got the manipulation of the gods, which what I thought was an interesting aspect of it. I mean, they're playing when we played board games as kids, like it's a game of Risk or something. They're just like rolling dice and moving like people around. And so there was a little bit of, a feeling of, just kind of laissez-faire sinister, I guess, with the gods. So just a lot of kind of cool villainy to go around.
Kathleen?
Agreed. I do have one note that I did not put in my trivia note. I've rewatched this again, and I still am flabbergasted. The statue that comes to life when he figures out that his Achilles heel, he opens that up. I really thought that was liquid. That was cellophane paper. It was red cellophane paper. I've watched it again. I'm like, it's amazing. Yeah, it's amazing how they can do special effects, especially that long ago. But I want to say the Harpies are probably my favorite villain.
They were cool.
Just mean. I love that. That's probably one of my favorite scenes. I love that whole, not the Parthenon, but since it's in Italy and not in Greece. But I love that whole section, the Harpies, the blind guy he was mad. He wasn't having any of it. He was just like, I repent or whatever. He's like, I don't want to have nothing to do with these gods.
I curse the gods.
Yeah.
Lightning and thunder just going off in the background.
Maybe kind of how I've talked on with some other people before, maybe too many villains. That seems to bother me in, some Batman movies. So that could be a little bit because we can't really pare down who is the villain of this movie because there's too many. So I think the reason I like the Harpies was because of when I saw them, the first thing I thought of was Calibus from Clash of the Titans. They reminded me so much of him. I think it was the horns. But anyway.
Well, then, let's talk about the villainy of Swiss Family Robinson. And what do you think of Asian pirate dude?
The pirate dude was, they needed a bad guy who was a bad guy during that time in the South Pacific. Pirates. They had a cool pirate. There was a junk. I think it was a junk that he was on. Pirate junk. So we had pirate junk, pirate booty, lots of pirates. And
they were kind of bad at being bad, though, to be honest.
Yeah,
they were really not the best pirates.
Yeah, serviceable villain. I'll stop there.
Gabby?
Kind of the same. Very, my favorite word for the evening, I guess, is going to be vanilla. Very boring. They were pirates on a Disney film. They weren't great at anything.
They weren't super ruthless.
No, they weren't. So,
yeah, fair enough. All right, let's score these things. Let's go to Jason the Argonauts and Weasel Skull. What you got?
All told, there was enough villainy in here to land me at a 7. I thought it was above average when you factor in kind of the manipulation of the gods. Like I said, the king and then the boss fights with the Harryhausen creatures.
Match game number 1.
We're on the board.
I also gave it a 7. All right, what'd you think the pirates in Swiss Family Robinson?
Well, I could give it a 5, but I mean, the pirate guy himself, he was energetic and entertaining. And it was it was worth it in the final battle with his ensemble crew when they fell into the tiger trap, and then they just jumped out like all of a sudden they were high jump champions, man. They were
on trampolines or something, right?
That pirate couldn't jump, or the tiger couldn't jump out, but those pirates, man, they leapt right out. So those had me chuckling. So I'll give them a 6.
Match game number 2. I also gave him a 6 just because just memorable enough. Just squeaked over the wire there. And Kathy, Cyber Bullet.
I forgot to say one thing about the gods. Jason was talking about the manipulation of them. Zeus was a little bit of a pushover. She was like, I want to help Jason. And he's like, no, that's a man's job. And she's like, but I want to. He's like, okay, fine.
They're just like us.
But I'm going to give my sniper bullet to Jason and the Argonauts this round, because I do believe the monsters were a definite step up from the pirates.
Certainly. All right, that's the end of round 3.
All right, now we're getting into the fun rounds. Round 4, where we're going to talk overall spectacle, and that is, the stunts, the special effects, the cinematography, the soundtrack, the score, all those things that make a good action and adventure movie, a great action and adventure movie. We'll start with Jared this time on Jason and the Argonauts.
Yeah, this is a spectacle movie. I mean, most of the time when you have Harryhausen in your credits, that's what you're going to get. So, yeah, the creature effects are a lot of fun. The sword fight with the skeletons at the end is cinema iconic. That is, I think, what most people associate this movie with, is the skeleton fight at the end. Kathy gave us some interesting trivia on the music, which I thought was pretty standout and enjoyable, and made it bombastic and very cool. I like the way the colors are done in this movie, and sort of the early days of Technicolor. I like the way it looks. So it sounds good. It looks good. It has incredible effects, especially when you think, this is 1963. I mean, the skeleton fight still kind of holds up, man. So I got a good score coming, and I'll leave the rest for Kathy.
Yeah, I agree, Jared. When I saw that skeleton fight, it really reminded me of the Mummy fight. You remember with Brendan Fraser in the end of the first Mummy movie? It was just like that. And I was like, I think this is almost as good as what they did in the 1990s, man. It was pretty awesome. But anyway, Kathy, let's let you take it away from here.
I'm going to agree with everything Jason said, and I kind of already brought this up, but even the small special effects of what I thought was oil, liquid, whatever, coming out of the bronze statue, all the different locations, beautiful. That boat, I think I saw in a trivia that was built and like it was being ran by Mercedes engines or something. Just overall, and I don't know, I am curious if people younger than all of us can appreciate these kind of movies. We kind of grew up on these stop motion movies. So I am curious if somebody who watched it, just 25 years old, who enjoys cinema, not wanting to watch it to bash all these old movies. I'm curious how they feel about this, because I do think part of it for us may be a little nostalgic.
Sure.
Especially, like I said, for my love of Clash of the Titans, and this did remind me a lot of that. So,
well, there's a reason for that.
Yes, I know. Same guy.
same special effects guy.
That's a really good question, Kathy. And a lot of times I watch some of these action film face-off films with my younger son, and he's 26 now. So, he can be a little jaded, but I got to say, he's enjoyed some of the older films that we've talked about. Telephone being one of them that we watched. He really enjoyed that. So, and Jared, I know that you've watched some with Jay and Jordan, over the years. So
certainly
it's kind of a little bit hit and miss. All right, let's switch gears a little bit and talk about Swiss Family Robinson. Jared, what did you think of the spectacle there?
It's also a strong spectacle. I think it's a lot to do with environmental spectacle. They get a lot out of their locations. Again, I like the color palette a lot. Kathy brought the fun fact. This was their first Panavision. It's wide, and it's you get a lot in the shots, and a lot of wild animals. And in fact, when you say Swiss Family Robinson, to me, the first thing I think of is the animal race, when they race on the different animals.
That's right.
That's the first thing I think of when I think of this movie. And so they showcase a lot of menagerie of animals, a lot of colors. It's just a very pleasing to look at film. I didn't remember the score as much, which is not to say it's bad. I just don't remember it a ton. But costuming and all, very visual for me. So
Yeah, visual it was great. And I think the exploring the island, we got to see some different cinematography, which to me was really stand out in this. I mean, especially for 1960, just looked great. Kathy, what are your thoughts?
Which I'm surprised they were able to get the film looking so wonderful, because I read that I think it was filmed in Tobago. Is that how you say it? Like
Is it in Trinidad and Tobago?
Yeah, Tobago, that's it. And apparently like 90% of the filming, it was torrential rains. But those beaches looked, to perfection in the movie. But Jared talked about how he remembers the race scene is what he remembers from this movie. I remember the treehouse because, like I said, I've been to the treehouse at Disneyland. You get to go up in the treehouse and, walk around and who didn't want to be in a treehouse when they were a kid, So, but yes, very visual movie. Ditto to everything Jared said as far as color palette, the scenic, the waterfall. I mean, it was just beautifully done.
Yeah, that treehouse would get 2.4 million in Seattle. So
yeah, it would.
We'll throw that out there. All right, Jared, it's time for us to score them. What are you giving the spectacle for Jason and the Argonauts?
When I run it through a filter for 1963, which I'm going to do, I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. It's a great looking movie.
Fancy.
Wow, you were way...
I'm a big Harryhausen guy, so it's,
okay. I think I'm probably... I like Harryhausen and I respect what he's done, but I'm probably less of a homer than the two of you here. I ended up with a 7 for the spectacle, but I respect that 9 that you gave it. What about Swiss Family Robinson? What did you give that?
Pleasant to look at, and that carries a lot of weight with me. Once again, running it through the, retro rewind filter. I mean, it was hold up against, the Matrix or whatever, but it's still very pleasant. Long story short, 8.
Wow. Okay. Again, a little more generous than me. I gave that one a 7 as well. I thought I gave a 7 for the Harryhausen effects and Argonauts and a 7 for the cinematography in Swiss Family Robinson. So, all right. So Jared's a little bit higher here. Go for it, Kathy. Sniper bullet.
This is probably toughest bullet of all to divvy out. I'm probably going to go lean more Jason and the Argonauts, probably because of the nostalgia from watching these kind of movies when I was little. I like the action sequences a bit better. There were little annoyances filming wise with Swiss Family Robinson, things like when the logs rolled down the hill, there was a couple of times where you could see them bend, so you could tell they weren't real wood. They were like big rubber logs. So little things like that took me out of the moments, and could get a little silly. It is Disney, so that's expected, but I think I'm going to give my bullet to Jason and the Argonauts for spectacle.
All right, Jared. Well, that ends my round. I'll pass it over to you.
I'll pass it back to Jason here because we're going to round 5.
1 shot, 1 kill.
Round 5 is best action scene. Got some to pick from here in Jason and the Argonauts. So how did you break that down there, Jason?
Got 5 scenes from Jason and the Argonauts. And basically, I just did the 5 Harryhausen scenes. So I'm not going to do the fight on the boat between the 2 live guys, because who cares about that when you got Harryhausen? Just throw that away. So number 1, the first one was Argonauts versus the giant statue. I think his name was Talus.
Mm-hmm.
I called that one, well, if you're going to attack me, I'm just going to steal all your stuff.
Yeah, well, yes.
That makes sense.
I mean, technically, he was attacking them because they stole his stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, he stole like one thing. I think, the second one was the Argonauts versus the Harpies. And I called that one, let's do the Pepsi challenge with this guy. You mind? You know, the blind.
The blind.
Yeah.
All right, it took me a second. I'm with you.
Okay. The third one was the Argonauts versus the Cliffs that were trying to break up their boat. I called that one, things are about to get rocky.
Yeah.
The fourth one was Jason versus the Hydra. Or, you think you're going to fleece me? I think Argonaut.
Worked in fleece and Argonaut. By the way, a golden fleece, like the dumbest thing to be tracking. Can you think of something better than that? Golden fleece.
It saved her life.
It did. It's just, I don't know. It's weird. Like, Of all the things anyway, Jason's trying to do.
Well, the last one here is the Argonauts versus the Teeth of Hydra. I called that one stealing from the king is a boneheaded thing to do.
I think you clearly have left one out here.
Which one I leave out?
The one I'm going to pick more than likely. Skeleton fight.
That's the one. The Teeth of Hydra.
Oh, okay. I was thinking it was when. Okay, I was thinking of you already mentioned. So he fought it twice.
Well, no, he plants
the teeth of the Hydra, and they become the skeleton.
And then it comes. Okay, so he defeats a Hydra. Okay,
yes,
my bad, my mistake.
Yeah,
no. I'm totally picking skeleton fight because that's what I associate with this movie the most. Jason, what do you pick?
Same, absolutely.
Kathy, you gonna mix it up?
I already said I like the Harpies is probably my favorite.
There's nothing wrong with that. That's a good scene. It's a solid scene. All right. So what's Family Robinson?
Okay, I didn't put the dogs in. I didn't know we were going to have such feelings about dogs.
I love them dogs, man.
Okay, we'll put that one in and we'll call it I got the eye of the tiger. And then the other dog says, I got the other eye.
Yay, we go.
there you go. So it's officially in there now. Then there's also fighting the sharks, which I thought was kind of a cool scene too. When the sharks are trying to get. I called that one. I think we're going to need a bigger raft.
Yeah. Yes, I like it. It's approved.
You like it? Okay. And then there's the rescue when they rescue the girl and flee from the pirates. I called that one Fritz. I might have been on this island too long. That cabin boy is making me feel funny. Oh boy. And then the third one was when the lads fought the boa constrictor. I thought that one was a pretty cool scene there. I called that one, if you ain't got no buns, my anaconda don't want none.
Not enough Sir Mix-a-Lot references on this show.
The fourth one is the final battle, or who says the Swiss can't fight? Man, they were laying it on, man. Mama was up there laying out pirates, and it was great.
They almost avoided that whole fight until Fritz was like making noise and like, or not Fritz. Was it Fritz, the little one? Yeah.
Francis.
Yeah. Francis. Yes.
Francis is the little one.
They would have totally. Francis, you suck. Anyway, which one you like, Jason?
I like the final battle against the pirates. I thought that one was really cool.
It was cool and engaging, and I mean, of course, I'm picking the dogs versus the tiger, but since it's not official, I'll actually say I really liked the escape with the cabin boy. Wink.
Yeah,
I liked that bit. I thought that was pretty cool. Kathy, what about you?
I actually may have to go with that one too because I feel like that was the most intense. Like it felt the most.
Yeah, I felt tense.
The most real. Like the ones with the pirates is like
it got like cartoony.
Yeah,
it was
exactly.
Fun, but
it was very Pirates of the Caribbean in today's movies. You know.
All right. Well, let's score these things then. Jason, we like skeletons over in Jason the Argonauts to the tune of.
Well, I told you that I don't quite have the passion for the Harryhausen effects, but this one struck a chord with me. I mean, I could tell that there was a lot of effort put into this. I'm giving this one an 8.
That's match game 3. Swiss Family Robinson, you picked the final battle, and
I did.
I liked this cabin boys making me feel funny, and you scored yours a what?
I gave that one a 7.
Match game number 4. We end up in this one with a match game because I also gave mine a 7. So we have one final question asked Kathleen, and that is, which movie had better action scenes for you?
Jason and the Argonauts.
I concur, but that's not my job. My job is just to write down what you say, and that's the end of round 5.
I'm going to kill them all, sir.
Let's go down the pit of despair and see if there's anything in the deduction round that we want to take off from either of these movies. So, Jared, I'll open it up to you. Anything you want to take off from either movie? Any grievance?
Nah, I'm good. I'm good on both. They are pretty much what you see is what you get movies. I don't have to inject any military authenticity into these films. Right. I'm good to go. I'm good to go on both of them.
Technically, the tibia and the fibia are attached with it.
I do have a pseudo military question. Would those cane shields have protected them from anything in Jason and the Argonauts? I think it was the King's men. Their shields were literally made out of, I guess cane is the best way to They were
like
metal. They were
kind of the wicker shields.
Yeah, wicker. That's
Yeah. I mean, they would against some swords, or it would have provided some protection. I mean, it's Persians used for a while. Like
what you lose in the protection of steel, you gain in mobility because they're much lighter.
Speed and mobility. It's I mean, you want to have a big honking metal shield, man, if you're in a sword fight, but it would have done some protection. Not against that tiger, though. I'll tell you that. All right. So you're not taking anything off, Jared. I'm feeling the same way. I watched both of these movies. I smiled at the end of both of them. They were both a lot of fun. No regrets. Kathy, anything you want to add? Anything, any grievances?
No, not that I can think of.
All right. We're going to close this out then.
That's the end of our official rounds. Okay, don't worry if you haven't been keeping up with the math at home, folks. We do that for you here at Action Film Face Off. Checking in with Match Game. Jason and I only scored 4 match games on this one, 4 out of 10. So, it went low on this one. I guess I was in the grumpy mood on this one, but that's all right. And sniper bullets. Kathy ended up giving 3 sniper bullets to Jason the Argonauts and 2 to Swiss Family Robinson. And sniper bullets, they weighed heavily on this one because without them, there was a 1-point difference in the movies, but then factoring in the sniper bullet scores, there's a bit of a squeaker. And looking at the judges' scorecards, the winner of this episode of Action Film Face Off with a score of 75 to 73 is Jason and the Argonauts.
Congratulations to Jason and the Argonauts. Now let's head over to the randomizer and find out what the years are going to be for our next episode. My brother Jared will be pulling a film from
Choose Your Destiny.
1970.
Woo!
And I will bring a film from
Choose Your Destiny.
1985.
I'm jealous.
I would be too. What will those films be? We'll tease them on social media for those of you who want to watch before listening. We're thinking of you, Dave.
Battle Wagon.
Or you can tune in next episode to find out. Till then, I'm Jason Weasel Skull Albrick, and you can find me on social media at Jason Albrick on Instagram.
And you can find me, Jared Albrick, the Yard Sale Artist, a.k.a. Death Probe, at Yard Sale Artist on X, Facebook, and Instagram. Kathy.
I can be found on all social media at AUKathy2418, and that's Kathy with a K.
All right, folks, be sure to check out all the shows under the Longbox Crusade umbrella by subscribing to Longbox Crusade on your finer podcatchers, or you can check us out at YouTube, or you can go straight to www.longboxcrusade.com. If you want to send a question or a comment about what we've talked about on this show or any of our past shows, you can do that by hitting us up on social media at Longbox Crusade. That's X, Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, YouTube. It's all at Longbox Crusade. And if you want to be a little more targeted over on X, we got an account over there. It's at AFFO Podcast. And of course, you can leave us a voicemail, 707-532-5269. That's 707-532-LBOX.
Pick up the coconut phones.
Pick up the coconut phone. And now that you're wrapping up this episode of Action Film Face Off, if you're all out of Longbox Crusade podcast to listen to, we've got a recommendation for you. If you need a little something sweet in your ears, you're waiting for another Longbox episode, check out Q106.5. They have a Q106.5 app on your phone, or you can go to Q1065. Don't put the point in there, it'll mess it up. .com for all your 80s and 90s hits.
Discover the legendary Q106.5 in your car, on your smart speaker, on your phone. Browse to Q1065.com. 80s, 90s. This is a radio station with a vibe. Download our app or listen online. Search at Q1065 Radio on social media. The Q is your favorite radio station. Discover Q106.5 and hear the 80s and 90s hits on the radio station with personality. Q106.5.
Definitely give them a listen. They're an awesome partner for our shows. Well, then, thanks for tuning in, everyone. We appreciate you listening. Until next episode, crank up the Q1065, keep your head down,
and your knuckles up.
The intro and outro theme to this show and all of our Action Film Face-Off shows are done by musical genius Joe November. Check out his SoundCloud at JOSEFLIN99. You will not regret it.
Hey, I got a good island joke though. You want to hear it?
Sure.
So there's a soldier, an airman, and a marine, and they're all stranded on a deserted island, and they come across a genie bottle, and so the genie pops out, and he says, "Oh, since there's 3 of you here, each of you gets 1 wish." And the Air Force guy says, "Man, I really miss my wife and kids. I just wish I was home with them, and everybody's happy and healthy and well." And so, poof, he's gone, disappears. So the soldier goes, "Well, I'm single, so, I'll take just send me back to the States and put like $10 million in my bank account." Poof, he's gone. And so it's the Marine's turn, and he's thinking. He finally says, "Man, I miss my friends. I wish they were back here." Poof, poof. Get it? You get it?
So did the 2 guys come? He wished them back. Is that what happened?
Yes. So all 3 wishes. Because
it's not bad. It's not the worst one.
Okay. Come on, it's better than your Santa jokes in the.
I can't argue with that.
Should I do something about pirates? Pirate Captain Entropy?
Let's not get carried away.
Okay. Oh, that's right. Only Jared can make jokes.
Correct.
I just did mine. Was I on mute?
You must have been on mute. Yeah.
Oh, I missed it then. I'm
We're on
glad
to Eric Hodges.
you didn't hear what I said.
No.
You were cracking yourself up, though. We're kind of laughing at how much you were laughing.
Anyway, okay.
I was wondering, with the skeleton scene, Kathy, you mentioned it took 4 months for him to film that. And then you mentioned that he originally had it with the flesh hanging off and the sensor stopped it. So I wonder if he had to do it like twice, if that's why it took so long, or if it could have been.
No, I think because I read the, let me pull, it gives you how long it takes to film each, like it gave, not math, but it gave, hang on, let me give me the specifics. Hold that thought. I've got it pulled up.
Gerald probably have to cut this, but I was just curious.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Rude. It may have been. I take that. Let's see. Live action work had been going. That meant he had 35 different things to move for each frame of film. He had to make the skeleton's movement fit in with the actor's movement so that all 10 could be seen hacking away at each other with their swords. Sometimes he only managed to do 13 or 14 frames a day. Movies are shown in 24 frames per second. Which was about half a second of film in a day. As a result, it took 4.5 months to film the animation for the sequence.
Wow. Okay. Well, there you have it. I thought about, because there was that scene where the boat's sailing under the legs. I was like, put some underwear on. But you're right.
She's going to blow him away.
You're supposed to let me finish it off.
And Jared, I want you to know that you are not a weirdo.
Jared, you are a weirdo.